Hello and good morning everyone to yet another vlog. I am CSCS CMA Nikhil Gupta, and in this vlog I am going to discuss a very important chapter of your syllabus. Guys, name of the chapter is Valuation of Human Resources. So in your BVM chapter, subject paper number 20 of CMA final, this is a important chapter and we find a question from this chapter in every alternate attempt, or maybe in every third alternate attempt, and this is a really important chapter from a theory as well as practical perspective. However, we have seen a question coming from this chapter more often in a practical sense rather than a theoretical sense. So let's start the chapter Valuation of Human Resources. Now, first of all, please understand the importance of this chapter, guys. The Indian GAAP and the accounting policies and provisions and principles which are there in the country and even around the world do not permit recognition of human resource as an asset. So human resources find a place as an expense in every profit and loss account, but there is no asset recognition for human resources. However, for companies like Bain, McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group, Ernst and Young, KPMG, Deloitte, these are all knowledge companies. They don't have a plant and machinery or a capital base from which they are doing some manufacturing process. They are all knowledge based companies. So for these knowledge based companies, their knowledge which resides in brains of their employees is their biggest asset. Unfortunately, these companies are not required to recognize the assets which are their employees, which are their biggest assets in their balance sheets. Now, as per the accounting policies or accounting disclosures and accounting reporting, human resources are not recognized as an asset. However, in a mergers and acquisition deal or in a valuation deal, this is one of the key factors to be considered by the buyer and the seller of an entity to value the entire business. Because think of a company which is a knowledge company which does not have any asset base. You cannot say that that company doesn't have any value. It has a value. It has a value in respect of its knowledge base, its intellectual property, which resides in its employees. So, we are going to discuss in this chapter certain elements or certain methodologies which will be useful for recognizing or valuing the human resources, which has never been attempted, or it is never a accounting concept. It is just a valuation concept, valuation of human resources. Now, a very basic fundamental way of acknowledging our human resources or valuing our human resources is that, guys, the expenditure which we do on human resources, that expenditure can be capitalized to recognize the capital value of the asset. So, a company incurs training and recruitment expenses for the employees every year. So don't you think that those training and recruitment expenses are nothing but development expenses of an asset? Just like you spend money for development of an asset or making or construction of an asset. Similarly, a company is spending training and recruitment expenses for developing our human resources. So the first method which we are going to discuss in this chapter is capitalization of expenditure method. Guys, let us take an example, and I'm referring to the module, and we are doing an example for this particular method, which is capitalization of expenditure method. Through an example, I'm going to teach you how to value human resources. Illustration number 1, I am on page number 11.3 of your study material, which has been provided. So illustration number 1 is Avtech Limited is a firm that specializes in offering technical consulting services. Avtech reported operating income of 51.5 lakhs and a net income of 23 lakhs in the most recent year. In the most recent year, firm had 14 lakhs training and recruitment expenses. So this is a company which is a technology company, which again has a IP or a intellectual property as its base asset and does not have tangible asset, maybe. But it incurs 14 lakh rupees. It has recently incurred 14 lakh rupees on the training and recruitment expenses. A consultant who joins Avtech stays with the firm on an average for 4 years. An employee who joins this company is there in the company for 4 years. training and recruitment expenses are amortizable over the 4 years. So guys, the question is giving you a hint that if you capitalize this expenditure of training and recruitment, then you are eligible for an amortization for 4 years. So think of it in a manner that you are not incurring an expenditure of 14 lakh rupees for training and recruitment, but you are purchasing an asset. If you are purchasing an asset, then this amortization cost of the amortization will be eligible for 4 years, and over the past 4 years they are. So the question gives you expenditure which has been incurred on training and recruitment expenses for past 4 years. So the most recent year, which is the 0 year, has incurred an expenditure of 14 lakhs. 1 year back, you had incurred an expenditure of 12 lakhs. 2 years back, you had incurred an expenditure of 10.4 lakhs. 3 years back, you had incurred an expenditure of 9.1 lakhs. And 4 years back, you had incurred an expenditure of 8.3 lakhs. Obviously guys, training and recruitment expenses is a recurring expenditure which will happen year on year, which will happen every year, because you need to train your employees every year. Every year new employees are joining in and they need training requirements are there, and recruitment requirements are there. So this expenditure is getting incurred year on year, and the question has given you the details of this expenditure for past 4 years, including the expenditure which has been incurred in the most current year. Now think it in a manner that this is not an expense, this is an asset. So what we are going to do is, we are in this method of capitalization of expenditure, we are going to assume that the expenditure is not actually an expenditure but an asset for creating an asset known as human resources. Then the question says, assume a linear amortization schedule. Linear amortization means it should be equally distributed amongst the 4 years. Over the 4 years, you are required to estimate the value of human capital and the adjustment to the net income. So two requirements are there. One, valuation of human capital, and second, adjustment to the net income. So let us try and attempt this question, and let us see how this question will be solved. So we are first of all trying to compute computation of value of human capital in year 0, which means the latest year, the most recent year. We are trying to calculate the value of human resource in that year. So guys, we have year 0, year 1, 2, 3 and 4. We have training and recruitment expenses for all of these years. Training and recruitment expenses. So in the most recent year, the expenditure which has been incurred is 14 lakhs. This amount is in lakhs. 1 year back, so guys, the detail has been given for past 4 years. So 1 year back, the expenditure which was incurred was 12 lakhs. 2 years back, the expenditure which was incurred was 10.4 lakhs. 3 years back, 9.1 lakhs, and 4 years back, 8.3 lakhs. So this is the training and recruitment expenditure which has been incurred by this company over the past 4 years, including the most current year. Now the next column will tell us the value of human capital. Now please understand this concept very, very carefully. This is the balance sheet value. I've written BS, balance sheet. So please understand this concept very, very carefully. In the most recent year, expenditure which has been incurred is 14 lakhs. Had this expenditure not been an expenditure, but a capital outlay, then the balance sheet would have disclosed an asset of total 14 lakhs, because there would have been no depreciation. So the entire 100% would have been shown as value of human capital asset in the balance sheet. Because we are in this method assuming that this expenditure is actually not expenditure but a capital outlay. It is incurred for acquiring an asset. Think about the expenditure which has been incurred 1 year back, 12 lakh rupees. Guys, this expenditure would have undergone a depreciation at the rate of 25%, one fourth, because a linear amortization schedule has to be followed. And this expenditure would be 12 lakh rupees multiplied by 75%. So the total expenditure which would have been in the balance sheet would have been 12 lakh multiplied by 75%. Next would be 10.4 lakhs. So 10.4 lakhs, guys, was incurred 2 years back. As it has been incurred 2 years back, so the depreciation for 2 years would have been incurred on this expenditure. So the expenditure which would be showing in our balance sheet would be only 50%. Let's rethink about it, guys. So 14 lakh rupees, this is an expenditure, but I'm asking you to consider it as a capital asset. If it is a capital asset, then the 100% of the expenditure is to be treated as a capital asset because there has been no depreciation because the expenditure has been incurred in the year 0. However, 1 year back, the expenditure which was incurred was 12 lakhs. Had I recognized this expenditure in the balance sheet 1 year back, then there would have been a depreciation of 25% which would have been leviable on this 12 lakhs, and hence the balance sheet value of this expenditure of this asset would be today as on year 0 would be rupees 9 lakhs. Think about 10.4 lakhs, guys. So if I would have incurred an expenditure of 10.4 lakhs and would have treated it as an asset 2 years back, then depreciation for 2 years would be leviable. What is the depreciation for 2 years? It will be 25% and 25%. So the balancing figure, the WDV in the balance sheet as on 0 period would have been 50%, which is 5.2 lakhs. Now I would give you some time to think about these two entries. Please think about these two entries yourself. I'm giving you just 1 minute to think about these two entries yourself, and you come up with the solution of value of human capital in these two entries. I know you must have thought well and you must be arriving at the same conclusion which I am going to tell you. Guys, if we have incurred 9.1 lakhs 3 years back, then today this expense which we would have recognized as an asset would be left over at the rate of 25%. Naturally, guys. So 25% depreciation would have been leviable in year 1, 25% in year 2, 25% in year 3. So 3 years depreciation would have been leviable, and at the 0 period, the WDV of this particular asset would have been 9.10 multiplied by 25%, which is 2.275. Now let us come on to the last entry, which is 8.30. Guys, obviously for 8.30, which has been incurred 4 years back, depreciation would have been levied at 25% each for all the 4 years, and hence the WDV of this particular asset would have been 0. So if I total up this amount comes to 30.475. So what is the value of human capital? If I am using the capitalization of expense method, then the value of human capital which will be recognized in my balance sheet would be, hence the value of human capital is computed at rupees 30.475 lakhs. So this is the answer to part number A. Now we'll be starting part second or part B. Guys, before starting part B, I would like you to extend this table to compute one more thing for me. Sir, what is that one more thing which you want us to compute? Guys, I want you to compute the amortization in year 0. So, this is about the balance sheet piece. However, in the profit and loss account, there would be a corresponding movement of the depreciation. And I want you to let me know what is the depreciation which has been debited to the profit and loss, which would have been debited to the profit and loss account had this expenditure be treated as an asset for past so many years. So what is the depreciation which we would have calculated for this expenditure which would have been debited to P&L account? I want you to calculate the amount of amortization which would be debited in year 0. Sir, why do you want it? Guys, I want it because of part number 2. So let me write the heading of part number 2. Part number 2 requires us to compute the computation of adjustment to net income. We need to compute the adjustment to net income. Okay, sir. So what is the adjustment to net income? I mean, what do you mean by adjustment to net income? The meaning of adjustment to net income is, guys, we have been given an EBIT of the current year. Current year means year 0 as rupees 51.5 lakhs. Now guys, obviously this expenditure, this EBIT would have been computed after deducting the expenditure of training and recruitment expenses, and the training and recruitment expenses would have been debited in EBIT. Now we are assuming that the training and recruitment expenses are actually not expenses but are assets. If they are assets, so first thing which we need to add in the EBIT is training and recruitment expenses of year 0, that is the current year. We need to first of all add the training and recruitment expenses in the EBIT. Why? Because we need to compute the correct EBIT. This is not the correct EBIT. So if we are assuming that this expenditure is not an expenditure but an asset, then it should not have been deducted from the EBIT. Hence we have added the amount of training and recruitment expenses in the EBIT. Next thing which we should adjust in the EBIT is less amortization. Guys, amortization of human capital. So there would have been, if you assume that your training and recruitment expenses is not an expenditure but an asset, then there should be some amortization of human capital which should be deducted from the EBIT to compute your adjusted EBIT. Right? So we need to figure out this amount of amortization of human capital, and that amount I will compute from this table because this table is easily telling me the required details. So now you have to tell me what is the amount of amortization in year 0 which would have been debited for the expenditure of 14 lakh rupees. Guys, you have not incurred any amortization for this particular expenditure, because this has been incurred in year 0, which is the most recent year, which means nothing has been amortized on this account and 100% is shown in the balance sheet. So zero amortization. Perfect. Now think about 12 lakhs. 12 lakhs was incurred 1 year back. If 12 lakh was incurred 1 year back, then what is the amortization which has been debited to the P&L account in last 1 year? Sir, it should be 25%. Of course, 3 lakhs would have been debited in the immediately preceding year. Now come on to 10.4 lakhs. If 10.4 lakhs was an asset which was accumulated on 2 years back, then the expenditure would have been debited to P&L account 2 years back, it would have been 25%, and 1 year back it would have been 25%. I am only bothered about the 1 year back calculation, or 1 year back amount of depreciation. What is that amount of amortization which has been debited 1 year back, which is in year 0? It is 25% of the entire amount. So 25% amount comes to 2.6 lakhs. Now comes the next amount. 3 years back an expenditure was incurred 3 years back. If it was incurred 3 years back, then in the immediately preceding year, again a depreciation of 25% would have been debited to the P&L account. And if suppose if an expenditure has been incurred 4 years back, then again the depreciation which would have been debited to the P&L account would be 25%, which is 8.30 multiplied by 25%, which is 2.075. So these are the depreciation which would be debited to EBIT had recruitment and training expenses not been treated as an expense but as an asset. So let me total all these amount and then I'll tell you the ultimate answer. 2.6 plus 3, 9.95. So what I'm going to do is I will deduct 9.95 lakhs from the total amount of EBIT, and I will compute the corrected or the rectified EBIT. The rectified EBIT is 55.55 lakhs. 51.5 lakhs plus 14 lakhs minus 9.9 lakhs, 55.55 lakhs. So I'm going to conclude my answer by saying, hence the adjusted EBIT is computed as rupees 55.55 lakhs. Guys, the question does not give me tax rate, otherwise I would have computed the adjusted net income as well, because tax adjustment would be there in the adjusted net income. So tax rate is pivotal while computing the adjusted net income. If question is silent about the tax rate, you can compute adjusted EBIT and that will suffice your answer. So this is the first concept of human resources valuation, which is an important concept, and a question from this concept is often asked in the examination. There are other methods also which now I think you will be able to understand yourself very easily, like Levin-Schwarz model. This is a very important model which comes in the examination. You have to attempt all these questions which are given in my module along with the practice questions which are given in the module to master this chapter. But guys, trust me, this chapter is really easy and it's a cakewalk. It's a easy chapter to score marks in, and you would really find easy questions from this chapter in the examination. So I hope you liked this video. I'll be coming up with more videos on BVM as well as SPM for you on my channel. So stay tuned for the new videos, and your exams are approaching. So all the very best and happy studying.